Let's talk about SmashJT. Or more accurately, let's talk about his blunder with McDizzle claiming to be an Ubisoft employee, leaking news about Ubisoft. For those who don't know, SmashJT is a successful YouTube channel covering gaming news, both on YouTube and on his personal website. I've often used him as a source. McDizzle, however, is a smaller YouTube channel of 7K followers who posts videos once a month-ish.
Ah, his third leg is tiny. Tiny third leg! Bye!
Hey, we're raising money for... Ugh! His
channel
is tiny. Hi.
Channel.
Oh, boo, 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 boo. There you are. You're a tiny...
Channel.
Yes, you are. Oh, who's a tiny...
Channel.
Who's a tiny...
Channel.
You are. Oh, you're so cute, aren't you? How tiny. Dang it.
All jokes aside, and yes, I do know I'm a smaller channel. To get the truth of the story, we're going to be watching at a speeded run of McDizzle's video. But every time he mentions money, I'm going to play a certain clip. And then whenever I need to give context, I will give the context from Smash's own mouth.
Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. It's been a crazy couple days, and I'm going to tell you why. We're going to dive into a crazy social experiment and the fallout from it. If you are here because you hate me, at least give the video a chance and let me know what you think. And if you're here because you support my style of journalism, you can join the channel as a member. Drop anything for a super.
Money, 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 print money, money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, money, more money, 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 heaps and heaps of money, 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 print money, money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, money, super chat, money.
Like the video and subscribe if you're new. I'm going to have some detractors, and sure, there are some things I regret. But at the end of the day, we drove some fascinating conversation around journalism and gaming, and that is a good thing. And I'm not backing down from any conversations. Smash, if you want to chat, I'm happy to.
Burning with envy, they're falling flat. They can't handle the sound of a super chat.
Might be your best night for super chats yet.
Raise a bunch of money, money, super chat, money.
First of all, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning things, but I'm always on a quest for truth. And I've done some interesting investigations into the culture warriors of today within Gamergate.
Calling us road code names. SJW screaming, but it's money they blame.
I'm hoping this video is some of the more interesting journalism that you'll see. If you're interested in my other reporting, check out my channel, including a groundbreaking investigation into Ember by Grums. I say this because I do have a heavy record of thorough research.
Burning with envy, they're falling flat. They can't handle the sound of a super chat.
We need to talk about accountability in gaming journalism in 2025. It's moved to a wild place, and I'm not just talking about the Kotakus of the world dying, because they are. It's the unchecked new journalism in gaming that has become what Gamergate 1 was meant to fight about, which was ethics within game journalism. I think that's something that everyone can get behind. You know, we have the woke mind virus, but there's also the anti-woke mind virus. And a lot of it stems from questionable reporting from YouTubers with anonymous sources. Specifically within the gaming space, there's such a low threshold for large YouTubers that anything can get published as fact. And of course, you can always have a disclaimer that says, hey, this is a rumor. If you're going to believe this person, sure. But at the end of the day, if you're a large YouTuber and you have a website that you provide gaming news to people, you're going to get questioned if the information seems illegitimate. But do gamers want that information thrown out into the collective zeitgeist without a high level of confidence that it's correct? We're going to talk about at least how some of that information gets out there, often within the scope of yellow journalism, which is a fantastic way to drive views and to get money.
Money, 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 print money, money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, money, more money, 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 heaps and heaps of money, 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 print money, money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, money, super chat, money.
They're salty as the sea, calling us road code names. SJW screaming, but it's money they blame. Burning with envy, they're falling flat. They can't handle the sound of a super chat.
Now, yellow journalism within gaming hasn't specifically been explored, but we're going to do a bit of that. Of course, a big part of yellow journalism is taking sides on political issues, as well as reporting stories using anonymous sources, and we've seen a lot of that, and that's what we're going to talk about today. This type of content is like the tabloids of video games.
Really? We're going to use AI? Now, granted, I've used AI as well. But let's really go look at this, okay? So, yours is a little blurry. I hope mine's a little clearer here. Yellow journalism refers to a style of newspaper reporting that heavily emphasizes sensationalism, exaggeration, eye-catchy headlines to sell more papers, often expensive factual accuracy. Okay, that's the key point here. Factual accuracy. Primarily popularized in the 19th century. Hearst and Pulitzer, so there's your Pulitzer Prize, especially prioritizing captivating stories over verified information to attach readers. Sensationalism, competence-driven, impact on public opinion. Basically, like John Della Rose, or in this case, you. Well, let me look at something else here. Free Speech Center at Middle Tennessee State University. Yale Journalism. Written by Cleveland Ferguson III, published on January 1st, 2009. Last updated July 19th, 2024. Yellow journalism refers to sensationalist, holistic, and sometimes slanted stories that newspapers present as objective proof. The term was coined in the late 1800s by New York by established journalists to belittle the unconventional techniques of their new rivals, William Randolph Hearst, publisher of the New York Journal, and Joseph Pulitzer, publisher of the New York World. Hearst and Pulitzer themselves were lost in furious circulation battle, one-upping each other with big stories with big headlines to sell papers, appealing to the working-class populace. Although Eric Burns in his book Infamous Scribblers demonstrated the press in early America could be quite raucous, yellow journalism is generally perceived to be a late 1800s phenomenon full of lore and spin, fact and fiction, tall tales, and large personalities. It was aided by advances in technology that allowed faster turnarounds and getting printed news to readers. The characteristics includes the use of multi-column headlines, oversized pictures, and dominant graphics, front-page stories that varied from sensationalist to salacious in the same issue, one-upmanship or the scooping of stories, only later to be embarrassed into retraction, usually by competing publication, jingoism or the inflaming of national sentiments through slanted news stories often related to the Civil War, extensive use of anonymous sources by overzealous reporters, especially in investigative stories by big business, famous people, or political figures. I guess this is where you're getting at here. Self-promotion within the news medium. That seems like you. That really does. Rendering a so-called holy power, I can't even say that right, especially by using newspapers outlets to cater to immigrants for whom English was not their first language. McDizzle.
A few moments later.
Although modern journalistic standards are arguably as high as they've ever been, some Supreme Court decisions have allowed room for sensational coverage and criticism, especially of public figures. In the year v. Minnesota, 1931, a strong perception against private restraint of the publication. Another case for sets the high bar for public figures who thought the articles printed about them were libellous. In this case, also ruled that individuals can publish anonymous criticism of political issues and papers. Use of anonymous sources is largely governed by a code of journalism ethics. Let's look that up. You know, since we're supposed to be journalists and all that. Let's see which one do we want to use? Oh, we'll use Stanford University. We'll use that, issue. Okay. Seek truth and report it. This includes fact checking, not intentionally distorting information, identify sources, avoid stereotypes, minimize harm. Okay. This includes demonstrating compassion for sources and judging of stories. McDizzle, we have a problem here. Compassion. You sound rather obnoxious. You don't sound like you have compassion for sources and subjects of stories. Act independently. This includes conflicts of interest and corruption and resisting attempts of advertisers and special interest groups to influence the news. The account list includes correcting mistakes. I'm pretty sure it's in your video. I don't want to assume. But when SmashJT found out his source was corrupt and it was inaccurate, he came out and corrected his mistake. He came clean about it. So far, it seems to me, even though he's not an official journalist, he has the 4 pillars of the Code of Ethics. This is Alcazar's Code of Ethics, which we're not going to go into. We'll just go with this one. This is from Stanford.
Now, do I think yellow video game journalism should exist? Sure, but gamers like accuracy and call-out patterns, and that's why we're here today. This is a fantastic playbook on how to drive views on YouTube.
Money, print money, cash, money, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, more money, heaps and heaps of money, print money, cash, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, super chat money.
As salty as the sea, calling us no-code names. SJW screaming, but it's money they blame. Burning with envy, they're falling flat. They can't handle the sound of a super chat.
But it does come at the expense of truth and facts. But in any case, we should have an informed conversation about it.
Yes, we should. Oh, by all means, let's get to the truth and facts, shall we?
I mean, I get it. Who wouldn't want a pile of views in their YouTube channel?
Oh, you said the thing.
Say the line, Bart.
Money, print money, cash, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, more money, heaps and heaps of money, print money, cash, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, super chat money.
As salty as the sea, calling us no-code names. SJW screaming, but it's money they blame. Burning with envy, they're falling flat. They can't handle the sound of a super chat.
And don't get me wrong, it does take skill and talent to do what Smash does and others do. And one thing I will call out is some of these other people are like John Delarose, who's trying to see this as an ode on Smash, and it could have easily been him. Personal message to John, you're a freak, but maybe we'll explore that in another video. But we'll do a breakdown of how we arrived here. An example from some time ago with SmashJT was with Concord. The most epic failure of all time. Smash did some reporting on his perceived contributions of an employee and their alleged impact to the destruction of Concord. The information was so off that a Concord employee reached out to me, one that I did verify. I did a couple things to reach a high level of confidence with that source. For example, I reviewed their profile next. They weren't hiding anything. Or for another that corroborated things, they could send some proof. I guess the point being, if someone trusts you enough as a conduit of the information that they want to provide, they should be able to trust you enough to give you at least enough to know that they are sincere. And taking it at face value has a massive risk for misinformation. However, based on accounts from 4 other people that I was actually able to verify, a number of things that he said were factually wrong. You can check that video out if you want.
I asked SmashJT in a DM if he knows what video he's referencing, because he has a lot of Concord videos, and I can't recall which one that could be. And he's probably talking about his own video, which means he wants more views, which means, you guessed it,
Money, print money, cash, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, more money, heaps and heaps of money, print money, cash, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, super chat money.
As salty as the sea, calling us no-code names. SJW screaming, but it's money they blame. Burning with envy, they're falling flat. They can't handle the sound of a super chat.
level of confidence with that source. Going back to what he said, I'm gonna tell you something. First off, I just want to point out, how do we know his quote unquote 4 contacts that he quote unquote verified are real? All right, he's showing us everything else, but he's not going to show us. He's just going to show us some screenshots here and there and say that they had nothing to hide. Well, if it's all public information, if this is all factual, then you have no problem proving to us that your sources are real. Oh, wait, you need to protect the identity of your sources? You don't say. So how do we know you didn't do the same thing SmashJT does? How do we know they're not doing the same thing to you that you are doing to them? And lastly, I'm just going to point out, let's just say they are real and they did come to you. How did we know you're not the useful idiot and they're doing damage control? Food for thought. I'm going to let SmashJT tell us his side of the story about this source regarding Ubisoft, that is. Keep in mind, I have cut parts of the video out just to focus on him talking about the source in this part.
I've been contacted by an insider at Ubisoft with exclusive news breaking on SmashJT once again that Assassin's Creed Shadows is getting another delay. If my insider is to be believed, with someone who works at Ubisoft reaching out to me, according to my source who's currently at Ubisoft, as I can't really say, my insider reached out to me, and while I don't want to go into much detail, I will say I don't know this individual, but I have personally verified who they are by the name that they gave me and the credentials that they showed. So take this what you will from an insider letting me know the situation. And the information they gave me is going to be heavily redacted because I don't want to give out any information as to who they are or a way to find them. But the information that I do give you guys here is going to most likely blow your mind. I am redacted, with Ubisoft redacted as a redacted, working mainly on redacted, which has its problems with redacted. And I know that's a lot of redactions, but this person was very forthcoming with everything that they did there to make sure I believed them and understood who they were. But they continued saying, I am contacting you regarding an upcoming and unannounced delay with Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is mainly due to complaints from cultural officials around the destruction of shrines, but also to patch numerous bugs. The delay should be announced in about a week, and it will probably be until May. So they're saying probably May, if this insider's account is accurate. But my source continues, and they said, sharing this with you as the game is in a not ready state and disrespectful to Asian culture. Although I work with some good people, the team is a mess. This is coming from an insider at Ubisoft, fully coming forward and saying, yeah, there's some really good people I work with, but at this point, the game is a complete buggy, broken mess, and the team that we have isn't any better. You created an email address with the person's name, or it looked kind of like the person's name. You signed it with the person's name. You said what you did at the company. And I went to research it before I just went live with the story to double check everything. I'm like, okay, this lines up. This person says this is who they are. I checked the information online, researched them. I'm like, yep, that's what that person does. That's what they're there. And the things they said lined up with the reports that I had been hearing from other people regarding Assassin's Creed Shadows potentially being delayed until the next month or two because they've been running into so many issues. The religious thing showing up, Yasuke being more pushed back and not a prominent figure in the game, and Ubisoft potentially going into a sale mode or an acquisition with Tencent. I'm like, okay, the email comes through. It all lines up with everything that I've been hearing and seeing, and this person is just confirming it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna report on that. It makes sense. Everything checks out. Everything lines up. I'm gonna run with that. Okay, great. And when I pair it with all the other information with what was going on with Ubisoft at this time, I'm like, yeah, even with this being a confirmed troll job, that still could happen. Like, that's what I'm saying. So if anything, take it for what it's worth. The information that I present in the video was combined with other insights that I've gotten from other areas alongside what's transpiring right now at Ubisoft, which is a complete cluster shit show that is burning down as we watch. Like, it's happening in real time right now. So getting this email lined up exactly with everything else that I'd been seeing and hearing, and it just made sense. And at the end of the day, it's just his word, and I gotta either trust it or not, and I trusted it. I don't know if you guys know this, but I was very busy today, and this is something that was a timed event, and that's kind of how it got me, because it was like, oh, Ubisoft is going to announce this next week, and I'm like, oh, I need to get this out right now because I have stuff going on with the family this weekend. I don't have time to do a video this weekend, and I don't want it to be announced by Ubisoft on Monday. So I'm just going to run with it right now because everything makes sense with it. It all lines up. And sure, if it ends up being a troll job at the end of the day, I can still fall back on saying, well, okay, you got me with a troll job, but also This is something that is highly likely that is happening with Ubisoft.
Do you remember this part where McDizzle said,
It's the unchecked new journalism in gaming that has become what Gamergate 1 was meant to fight about, which was ethics within game journalism.
if you haven't figured it out already, the bullets that were above SmashJT's head when he was making his statements was the journalism of ethics. As we've seen, he sought truth and reported it. He minimized harm to his source. He acted independently. And he held himself accountable when he found out his source was wrong. These are the 4 pillars of journalistic ethics. He had those ethics. And I think that is something we can all agree to.
And you know what? He might have talked to somebody there, and maybe that was their experience. However, a number of his statements were very broad and reaching, and, well, not correct based on my research. Either way, that drew me further into heavy skepticism of anything SmashJT was reporting.
Your research. You know, I'm having an interesting epiphany here that when you want to show whatever SmashJT has done wrong, you will show stuff, and you will show videos of people and screenshots that makes people believe that you do your research on stuff. But then when you actually say, according to my research, you show nothing. You show nothing. So maybe you'll show it later on, but it seems like you're trying to discredit Smash because you're not liking his channel. Which makes me very skeptical on the credibility of your channel.
Alright, fast forward to a couple days ago, I got a message indicating that Smash will print anything to go to LinkedIn, find a random name for a developer at any studio, make a fake email on anything, and send him insider stuff he wants to hear. He'll post it within the hour. I did it a few times now. I'm one of his BioWare insiders.
Here's a thought. Did you vet this guy? Did you verify this guy was legit? Let's find out.
Now, I have no interest in blowing SmashJT up. I'm sure he's created a variety of enemies, and this sounds like one of them. I did ask him for additional proof. He locked himself out of the account and didn't have screenshots. However, he did provide me the insider name and email address.
How do we know that you didn't just took his word for it? Did you verify this source?
And Smash, if you want to know that name and email address, I'd be happy to provide it directly to you. I'm not going to post their name out there for everyone, though.
That's the BioWare insider I made. I wish I had the password. Oh yeah, that doesn't sound sus as fuck. Let me see. If he's the BioWare insider and he doesn't have the, and he's leaking stuff to Smash, right? Allegedly, constantly feeding him information. Don't you think, I don't know, he would have access to that password? I mean, let's just assume that this source of yours isn't made up. Let's just assume. Did you bother fact checking this guy? No, I'm not talking about like going to what you did with Smash. I'm talking about, did you validate this guy was actually for real? I mean, you literally pulled an Endymion. Or rather, like what Smash did to you, you just took his word for it and rolled with it. Except in this case, you didn't validate the source. Smash has actually shown his proof that he's done everything in his power to validate his source.
But allegedly, one of your BioWare insiders are fake. The crazy thing is, this fake leak ended up happening.
This sounds more like the guy is faking it, and he is not the source that he claims to be. It sounds like his source was accurate as fuck then. Allegedly.
Part of it did anyways. Specific article about a BioWare insider leaking all. Veilguard sales numbers, internal culture war, and layoffs incoming. Now, we do know layoffs did happen, but this specific piece right here was kind of funny. Let's find it. This part about a private chat group at BioWare with more than 10 people in it that follow his content specifically, that's pretty made up. Allegedly.
Hey, McDizzle. Care to show your proof here? Looking at the article, let's see what it says. Here we go. Message sent to me sheds light on the overall concerning atmosphere. I'm redacting specifics. More than 10 employees follow my content specifically, among a few prominent YouTubers. And they discuss the content critiquing BioWare's current state. Oh, so it's alleged because they go against the grain and could probably get fired if they mention this to their company.
And again, I would be happy to be proven wrong. That specific article was written just hours after this was sent by this gentleman.
Funny how you don't provide any proof of this factor. Just saying.
I have a level of skepticism with this, of course, because the BioWare layoffs did happen. Although I disagree with this guy's approach.
Oh, so it's just you disagree with the guy's approach. Oh. It's not that it was unethical or anything. Got it.
I followed up to flag this just shortly after his video was posted. This dude just left it. I think that's one, incredibly irresponsible, and two, I'm doing an actual report. I'm doing an actual story.
My guy, you're doing a smear piece with no actual facts so far.
If true, of course, that helped no one, and actually made it look like a fake leak was true.
What fake leak? You haven't even shown a fake leaker yet. You just have some hearsay message of an anonymous source that you didn't verify or show that you verified that BioWare claim was a fake leak. You did nothing. You're just using something that for all we know, you wrote yourself on from an alt account to yourself and then say, okay, this is the actual fake leaker that he's talking about in this article. For all we know, the leaker could be genuine. And you're just trying to use what you say that you did criminally, that we're going to find out here soon, as an actual source. No, my dude, you're a yellow.
And honestly, that doesn't really help anyone, outside of the additional validation that, hey, Smash does just run with things. My intentions are pretty noble, and they didn't just come from out of the blue. However, I'm fascinated to know if the names we have match up, Smash.
And there we go. He didn't validate his source. It looks more like he wants Smash to release his whistleblower so he can rat him out to EA and get that person fired. Allegedly.
He also recommended I try for myself, so I did. The only thing being a name and a role of someone that worked at Ubisoft, along with other nebulous information, but I did not link to any sort of LinkedIn or socials or anything like that. I had some ethical, moral questions around this. I did this after careful consideration of previous instances where there's been significant doubts and insider information. And Smash, sorry it was you, it could have easily been Endymion.
Speaking of which, why did you get on Endymion for his troll leak that he had that made him look like a fool in front of everyone? No, you went after Smash. So the question is why?
So I created an email address and I drafted up an email saying that I was a random employee at Ubisoft and that the game was going to be delayed due to a massive amount of bugs and the desecration of the shrines. I did not link to any LinkedIn profile or anything like that. Maybe this mysterious employee doesn't have a LinkedIn and just shares a name with that Ubisoft employee. What I expected to have happen versus what happened was very different. I expected SmashJT to ask for proof, and I would not have provided it to him. I would have reported what I had found.
Ethics in the news, ethical ground rules for handling sources. Some questions for the ethical jurors will ask in establishing good relations with the source. Have I clarified my source, the basis of our relations, and have I been fully transparent? Have I been taking care to protect the source? Am I confident the source fully understands the conditions of our interview? If the source asks for conditions before agreeing to an interview, what are my limits? An interview would also include talks through DMs or emails in this case. Just saying. So did you have conditions for Smash as the Ubisoft employee or even as McDizzle? And I'm not saying McDizzle as Ubisoft employee. I'm saying when you posted the Ubisoft employee, did you give him conditions? And when it was revealed, did you also give him conditions as well? Because once you broke those conditions, once you broke your agreements, and the agreement was that you were who you said you were, all bets were off. All right? All bets were off for you. You basically screwed the pooch on that one. So yeah, he's going to have to protect himself and his sources and the legitimacy of his sources that you decided to do something questionable and unethical about. Ooh. Let's see here. When faced with the decision to tell or not, in these circumstances, journalists must consider the impact of their actions and ask themselves some sharp questions. Who will benefit if the source is revealed? You've kind of revealed yourself, so all he did was verify that who you are, who you said you are. Did what he said damage you in any way? No. You know, all the information you that was shown was public information anyone can find. Now, I will say, if you showed your address from your mortgage, if you had one, assumingly, that would be records in a county clerk office or something like that, then yeah, I would say what Smash did was pretty scummy, right? Because that you'd have to go out of your way for that. Something like a social media account, stuff like that. That's public information. That's like going to town square and saying my name is Lavistro, the Dragon of Cyberspace. That's literally what you're doing on Twitter. You're making what you're saying public. And we all know Twitter is the digital town square. And so when they do LinkedIn profiles and all these other social media sites, that's literally the same thing. You did not make an effort to hide them and not make them public. You did not keep them private. Anything like that. Who will suffer? Who will lose? Did you suffer? Did you lose anything? You revealed yourself. You revealed yourself, hoping to damage his reputation. Most likely you lost reputation. Well, criminal power figure guilty of malpractice escape justice? Nope. Is this case of police? Nope, this isn't even necessary. Will the work of other journalists and the mission of the media be compromised revealing the information? Well, you called him a journalist, and you were trying to compromise his status, right? By revealing the information, the only thing he did, because you called yourself a journalist, is compromise you, but you compromised yourself already. Lying and being unethical like that. So, damage was already done. He didn't really do anything extra to it. It was already done. All he did was confirm, yep, this is the guy he is who he says he is. All right. I'm just saying, will public interest be served or not served by cooperation? I think it's in the public interest to know that you are who you say you are. And if you don't want the public to know who you are, it's up to you to ensure your stuff is locked up tight. In case of source breaking news, before I report to retweet development, how confident am I in its accuracy? He was very confident because you sold him on it. So I'm just saying right there. Then would I potentially cause harm if I reported something before it's established at 100% certainty? He didn't defame anybody. He didn't do anything that would jeopardize himself, his family. If anything, if it came out to be not true or they changed their mind, on announcing this stuff, he did say, based on my source, assuming what my source says is true. So he put it all on the source, which again, he didn't reveal who that was until you came out and said it was fake news. Then he says, okay, yeah, here's the guy he said he was, and here's who he really is based on his statement. Have I been careful to question firsthand accounts that can be inaccurate, manipulative, emotional, or shaped by faulty memory and limited perspective? He checked it with all the other information he had. He confirmed everything else he had, so it wasn't emotional, manipulative, inaccurate, anything. Based on what your testimony was, everything like he said, checked out. This is for breaking news. Have I triangulated the information correctly? Yes, he has. We've just been over that. Have I acquired the acknowledged material I'm using can be copied, distributed, displayed? The returns based on it, and I've been given credit to. Yes, he says, if what my source says is true, if what my source says is true, he works at Ubisoft. If what my source says is true, I can't tell you more about my source to protect him. So, again, Smash has journalistic integrity. You, however...
An example of proof like this, like I get from former Firewalk employees, and that's often in corroboration with other facts. That might be, okay, is this coming from an account on X that's been around for 10 years, and it obviously says what this person does. However, I was very surprised that the threshold of this was simply send an email, no questions asked. And then shortly after this, Smash had an article out, as well as a video, and I post this on X. None of this is reality, and I know this because I am the leaker. See attached. And the attached is the email I sent to SmashJT, of course, with the personal information of the name I use redacted. And this has gone with a whole lot of conversation. Smash eventually responded with another video, and Smash took a little bit of extra effort in his video to make sure that he had my full name and city I lived in within the video. I think I had some old accounts tied in with my personal name, took a little bit of effort, but not much, but he made sure to post it. But hey, my stuff should have been locked down better. Lesson learned. But do what you gotta do, Jeffrey. I know you said when you're mad at someone, you lash out, and you definitely do. You share a random Ubisoft employee's LinkedIn and portfolio information or something? That's working for a company that Smash actively wants to see fail. They don't need his help. They might do it on their own, but we'll see. Again, making assumptions based on nebulous information. And I apologize to the developer for that because he didn't take into account the social experiment. And it sucks that Smash posted your information in order to own you or something. However, Smash is the one that shares information with tens of thousands of people. This is what Smash said about vetting the insider initially.
My insider reached out to me, and while I don't want to go into much detail, I will say I don't know this individual, but I have personally verified who they are by the name that they gave me and the credentials that they showed. So
This was simply a name and a role and some stuff that's incorrect in there. I mean, when you have a website that's dedicated to showing off people that include some of the worst writers, editors, and others who have contributed to the downfall of game journalism over the years for various reasons, it's just wild to me that you would have such low standards.
Earth to McDrizzle, my guy, you literally had the same low standards. You took this guy's statement for its word that he was a false BioWare insider, that we just questioned the validity of, that you have not made any proof to show he was. All you did was mirror the same thing for Ubisoft and said, because what I did, this makes this statement true. That's even lower standards, dude. Is that you did something so unethical to justify something. It's not because you're searching for the truth. You want to be right. And as we've seen, you even admit in my past videos, I totally discredit him. I totally this. You want him to give out his source. You even said so. So I'm just saying, you're not being very ethical. And while you admit to being the one that did the lies and you're confessing your crimes like a villain in a Law and Order episode, you're not taking accountability. You're still saying, but it's still in the end Smash's fault. So you're not taking accountability at all for this. The last part of journalistic integrity, the code of journalistic ethics, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to point out here that he continues to project and he dismisses all claims that he's a grifter, and people are upset with him with his unethical behavior. And then he mentions his dad has pancreatic cancer, so you feel sorry for him and don't attack him and possibly give him more money. I'm not going to pull the joke on that one because I don't put families in that. He put his family into it. But I'm just saying. Now, why do I keep saying this is a crime? Why do I keep saying that? It is my opinion. I'm not a lawyer or anything else. But I did ask that question. Since McDrizzle claims to be a journalist, and he claims Smash is a journalist, and he likes to use Ask AI, I decided I'm just going to go ahead and follow his high standards of journalistic integrity. So I went on X and asked Grok3 the following question. What federal law would I violate if I posed as a real employee of a company to make a fake claim to a YouTuber or a news source about that company simply to discredit their integrity? Now, I want to point out, SmashJT is a company. When he files his taxes for his YouTube and his website revenue and stuff like that, his company would probably be SmashJT or SmashJT Enterprises or something like that. That's his company. So if anyone wants to get cute, that's what happened. When I filed my taxes, I had only got a couple of super chats for totaling a year, about $100, I believe. I filed it as Lavistro, the Dragon of Cyberspace. That's my company, under Cycle Dragon Studios, another part of my company affiliates. Anyways, it says here, if you pose as a real employee of a company to make a fake claim with the intent to discredit the company, you could potentially violate several federal laws in the United States, including, and some people are going to argue they're still referring to Ubisoft or whatever, but let's continue. Wire fraud. This law prohibits the use of interstate wire communications to execute a scheme to defraud or obtain money or property by means of false or fraudulent pretenses, representations, or promises that your scheme involves communication like email, phone, or internet to deceive. This could apply. Mail fraud is basically for mail, U.S. mail, which doesn't apply here. False statements. This statute criminalizes making knowingly and willfully false, fictitious, or fraudulent statements or representations in any matter in the jurisdiction, executive, legislative, or judicial branch of the U.S. government. While this law is often connected to statements to government officials, it could be invoked if your action involved federal oversight. Basically, if Ubisoft was working under federal contract. Impersonation of an officer. This also would imply, again, if you claimed you were an FBI agent, but or the Ubisoft was working as a federal employee. So a U.S. contractor. So no, this wouldn't apply here, but continuing on. Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, CFAA. If your actions involved unauthorized access to computer systems or data to perpetuate the fraud, you might violate this act, particularly if you access protected computers, which most computers connect to the internet. So, with regards to if you used your phone or a computer, what you did violates the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Now, granted, I think you said you're in Nova Scotia. I don't think that's U.S. territory or U.S. state. Now, granted, I don't think you're in the U.S., but I'm pretty sure your country has similar laws. And there's also diplomacy, which we had Donald Trump, so you know what that means. Lanham Act. This act covers false advertising and misrepresentation in commerce. If you false claim harms the company's business or reputation in commercial context, you might be liable under this law. Basically, Smash gets super chats, so you might get ad revenue, stuff from his website, and if you harm his reputation fraudulently, you could be under this law, because now you're saying, because you did try to say, you said based on what I did fraudulently, that means that his bioware source is also fraudulent, because his bioware source also claims to be a fraud. Just saying. Now, I'm no lawyer, so I would recommend people to go talk to a lawyer. Now, if I had a lawyer, if I had a source, I'd go see a lawyer. I'd ask them, how do I handle this? What repercussions do I have? What could happen if I found this source is actually false? What are my options? What do I do? What can I legally do under the law? What can I ethically do? I'll go talk to a lawyer. You're not a lawyer, pal. You said, oh, this is what I would do. Well, everything you did might be fine and good, but you showed your sources' faces, allegedly, because you led us to believe that those were your sources, allegedly. All this other stuff, allegedly. And Smash did his due diligence to protect his source until his source was debunked as a fraud. So at that point, the agreement was off. But each of these laws is sufficient evidence to be forbidden for conviction, and the applicability would depend on the specific your actions, the intent, which you've already stated your intent, the actual harm or potential for harm it caused. It's also worth noting that state laws might be applicable here. Yes, especially in SmashJT's state. I'm pretty sure this is in SmashJT's state. I think everyone knows where state is in. I looked it up. And there are extreme laws for what you did. Like his state adds more context for holding you accountable for what you did to him. My state as well. Your region might also have more laws on that one. So you just came out as basically John Della Rose as Kotaku. You literally became a Kotaku. The thing you agreed has no journalistic integrity. So you're admitting you have no journalistic integrity. You are a yellow journalist by your definitions. But I do want to point out here, legal advice should be sought from an attorney for specific guidance, as this response is general in nature and not tailored to your specific situation. Grok is not a lawyer. Please consult one. Don't share information that can identify you. Again, don't share information that can identify you. You shared information that can identify you. So once you share that, you're telling people it's okay to look me up. And I'm guaranteed people are looking me up all the time saying, who's the Lavistro, the dragon of cyberspace? And people might find out who I am. If they find out who I am, they find out who I am. I hope they don't. I hope I did a good job hiding. And if not, well, I'm going to hide it because I'm trying to protect my child. Because I keep my child away from all this. And if people are trying to look me up after that, and I was like, well, you're trying to find me because you know I'm trying to protect my child. Just saying. But anyways, that's just the why I consider it, in my opinion, criminal in nature. In closing thoughts, what we found out was we cleared Smash's name and both how he handles his sources and if he has the 4 pillars of journalistic integrity, which is the basis of McDizzle's argument. This is why I continue using SmashJT as a source for gaming news when I want more information to validate a source I have, or a rumor I've heard, or anything else in between. McDizzle, however, his whole basis was on a lie, as we found out. He lied to Smash about Ubisoft because someone told him, he claims allegedly, that Smash will take anything he hears as news. And he did this based on his video is because he wanted his source of BioWare to be the actual de facto news source, the actual fact of the matter. And he wanted Smash to give out his information. When he said, I quote unquote, I wonder if our sources' names are the same. Let me know. He does not care about his sources. He has no compassion, and he talks down and is obnoxious. SmashJT, however, he accuses of being angry, but we've seen that SmashJT was more angry at himself as opposed to McDizzle. And pro tip from someone who follows Smash, yes, I am a member of his channel. I give him super chats, and I did admit to using him as a source. But McDizzle, if you want to know why this humble channel is sticking with Smash, it isn't because he validates my suspicions or I hope to grift off of him. I have a lot of respect for SmashJT, and not to mention he has a background in the game industry, just like I do. Except his is more prominent than mine. However, again, I keep saying howevers, but however, while I do believe SmashJT jumped the gun, his method and reasoning wasn't unethical. And he's going to get shit for it. He's getting shit from his buddies. He's getting shit from his crew. But we're all sticking with him. And you know why that is? It's because he is honest. He did not do anything unethical. He did not do anything shady. He did not lie. And instead of doubling down and tripling down on things, he came clean. He says, I got. That's what he said. You seem bitter because BioWare's failing. And everything that was said about BioWare, supposedly, allegedly, in your words even agree, has been factual. And you got used as a useful idiot, my opinion, to do some damage control. And you didn't help your channel out. All you've done was hurt it more. I guess the next thing, you said you're going to make a video on JDA or Demion. And judging by your channel's track record, that's going to be in a month from now or 2 months. Supposedly, you didn't say it, it's just based on your track record. So, yeah, you may have gotten some 5 minutes of fame and a couple of videos made about it. And all your tribe may have come out after Smash being idiotic. But Smash grew. He's shown this already. He's shown that he's grown from your defamatory accusations. And honestly, I'd be worried about if this Ubisoft employee that you pretended to be doesn't come after you. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that because that'll be content for me. But what do you think, viewer? Does Smash have journalistic integrity, or does McDizzle? Put your thoughts in the comments below. I'm going to end this video before my podcast announcements with final words from SmashJT. And as always, happy gaming.
They wanted to knock me down. They wanted to bring me back down to earth and make me feel like I'm a nobody and that I suck and that I'm useless and all that. I'm like, great, that's what you got. Good for you. But at the end of the day, the channel itself is still going gangbusters. I'm still busting my ass every day here, and I'm still being as honest as I can and as transparent as I can with the audience, with all you guys. And I'm not going to get everything right every time. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not going to be infallible. And when I do get trolled or when I do screw something up, those of you who've been around the channel for a long time would know this already, that I'll do a video like this where I'm like, yeah, I got.
Worlds clash in endless collision. Gaming news with a fierce precision. With a spark so wild it breaks the norm. In the tempest eye of cyber the crowd. Psychotic dragon ready to ignite. Hold on tight.